Hi, my name is Joy Gasaway, also known as Kuma. I am a professional street dancer. So I would like to think that my journey began in dance around sometime before fourth grade. I was still living in Florida, actually Orlando, Florida, specifically Apopka. That's a hard word to say, by the way. But I saw this movie. We used to have movie nights all the time. My mom, dad, my sisters, and my brother. And there was this movie. I believe it was Save the Last Dance, and that was my first introduction to seeing anyone dancing at all. As a child, I was into like cartoons, drawing, art, things like that. So I didn't really actually watch TV a lot. But when I saw that, that and of course another movie called Center Stage, because like I said, we have movie nights often. There was this scene where a girl had blisters and cuts all over her toes. She had these bandages on them and everything, but she was still getting up and going to dance and looked flawless to me. And my little self was like, if that's the cost I gotta pay, then I'm okay with that. I would love to dance. And nothing connected for me as much as that moment. And I still remember it very vividly. My dad had to tell me to sit down and everything because I was in the background just trying to like act like dance around like the girl on screen and whatnot. It was fun. It was really funny. Um, but fast forward, I moved to Georgia, Lithonia, and specifically somewhere around fourth grade. And that was around the time my parents got divorced. But moved here. We kind of got me into this program at school where they had a dance program. I didn't realize how bad my stage fright was until they put me actually on stage. And everybody has that story where there's a little girl or a little boy that literally sits down and just cries for their parent. That was me. And to this day, or rather, I still have issues with stage right here and there, but it's not as bad. But fast forward again, my mom didn't put me in a lot of dance programs after that or anything really that put me in front of people until I got into high school. In middle school, I did a lot of work with like behind the scenes stuff, but in high school, I did meet quite a few dancers. Actually, ironically, I didn't meet any other dancers until high school, which was really strange to me when I became an adult. But I met some people, just a couple of guys. Ironically, the ladies that I met that were dancers were in dance teams, so that was a normal thing. But the guys that I met, they were doing hip hop styles like popping. Some of them knew some locking, and I was infatuated because I was like, well, I love Missy Elliott. I love her videos. Like it's Missy Elliott. And Busta Rhymes, I was from that era. Like I love Ludacris. I'm listening to all these people. Sierra, I'm listening to all these people and actually watching them do their dance breaks. Usher, Michael Jackson. I'm like, these guys are dancing like them. Oh my God. And they love them too. As a young girl, it was hard for me to really kind of delve into that because there's an expectation on women when it comes to dance. They expect you to look a certain way, dance a certain way, act a certain way. And I was probably called a tomboy for most of my life. So we could see how that went for me. But essentially, I started dancing with them and kind of broke out of my shell a bit. I was still very terrified because some of them were very hypercritical. They were still learning dance themselves, and so unfortunately, in cases like that, sometimes people that are still learning something can be hypercritical because it could be a personality thing, it could be how they were raised, or it could be something that they think they're better at, and they don't want you to excel. So I did meet a few people like that, and it kind of put me back in my turtle shell just a smidge. I was still peeking out, but I was in the turtle shell. But it didn't really become a very prominent thing for me until I got into college. 10th grade to 12th, I was definitely dancing, just not in front of people. But when it came to college, about my second year of college, I was I got an opportunity to perform for a it was like some of the neighborhoods I used to live around. They had like these festivals and stuff, so I got to choreograph. Mind you, that was a big thing for me too. I got to choreograph for myself and five other dancers, and I loved it. I played the witch. We had this whole song. I think it was a remix of "I Put a Spell on You," and I was just infatuated with how that made me feel as a dancer. And I got to do my own style. Then they asked for us back because of it. So yes, all of that, yes. And later on, I say around, well, we'll fast forward again. We'll say around 2012 is when I really started getting back into it. I stopped for a while because of college. And around 2013, I found out my mom had cancer. Things kind of shifted for me. I didn't dance as much. I was tired all the time. You know, when you're stressed and when things are happening, you get exhausted. So I was tired all the time. I took on 2 jobs to make sure I didn't have to burden my mother or anything like that, or I could help out. And I think I just stopped. So around 2015 is when she passed, March 18th, actually. And I was deeply infatuated with this style called contemporary. It helped me to feel connected to the emotions that I was feeling. I've never been a very emotional person, or rather, a very deeply emotional person. So I wasn't able to really grieve properly. That was in a way that was going to heal me. And so contemporary style dancing helped me do that. It helped me find the deep root of the emotions I was feeling, the anger, the grief, the sadness, the separation, everything. I even have videos I used to post every year on the either her birthday or the day of her death, you know, just kind of letting her know, because when she was alive, I didn't do much dancing in front of her. And to this day, it does bother me because like she can't see this. So I began making those videos to make sure that, you know, even if she can't see it, there's still a record that I was doing it for her. So not long after that, I end up finding studios. I took classes or tried to. They weren't exactly the thing I needed. They were hip hop classes without the hip hop, and it was not the best. It wasn't the best, honestly. It was very it was high energy. Like I felt like I was working out, but it wasn't like I was dancing. I didn't feel like a dancer. I felt like just someone there doing the dances with them. And fast forward to that is when I met well, my husband now, Firefly.
Hey everybody, my name is Anthony Gasaway Jr. I am a pro street dancer and instructor known as Fyrefli. I guess we always know where we want to start with these things, so I would say that if I had to put it all into a sentence, I would definitely say that focusing on what you want to do and making what you want to do happen is the action of determination overcoming situation. Guess rolling it all the way back to how I was as a kid, before there was a Firefly. I was always surrounded by family, a lot of just family energy and things like that. We grew up with, mom and dad in the house. They exposed us to a lot of music and a lot of, just structure so that whatever we wanted to do, they wanted to make sure we could do it. That included making sure in school we had dictionaries and thesauruses, paper, pencils, access to anything and everything we would need to be the best of who we need to be. Now, I'm originally from Houston. Every once in a while I get clowned because apparently I have an accent, but I don't think I do. Don't tell my wife that. But, growing up out there, it was interesting because as a kid, we dealt with being exposed to a lot of different elements of community, of culture, and things like that. And it wasn't a bad thing. It was actually very eye opening because our parents made sure that there was always an open mic and an open door to talk. My dad specifically was always making sure we knew about business and knew about, basic things like, how to, handle a bank account or how to handle being professional in a conversation with people, everything that we would need to know. My mom was right there to reinforce it. That's actually where the hub of me becoming who I am started. We would come home on, especially on weekends, and they'd be playing music, Motown, doo-wop, you name it, even 70s, 80s groove music, all the way up. And they did a lot to make sure that we understood we can have fun, but at the same time, there's things to be done that are not going to be fun. But understanding that do what you need to do so you can do what you want to do was how things worked. Was one of the biggest lessons that we really, really had drilled into us as kids, and it paid off. So I think my first time really being out there was they did this thing. My dad was a DJ at some family get together, and they played James Brown. I Feel Good, and I don't remember this, but apparently I stood on the floor and did the whole song like James Brown, and I guess that's my first time performing. My dad was a DJ for that event, and I remember him yelling out, "Go Ant!" Because my name is Anthony, and they used to call me Ant for short. I did not like being called Ant because I'm already short. So, skip forward a few years, my parents started introducing us to music with our age. So we went from hearing, basic doo